In today's video, I've got 7 remote jobs that offer incredible stability even when other industries are facing massive layoffs. Now, I'll be honest, some of these positions might seem tedious, but that's precisely why they're ignored and why there's less competition for them. Now, I know for a fact that these are actually really good jobs because I've helped hundreds of people land these exact positions. And I found this interesting information from Chris Williamson where he shares that commute length significantly impacts life happiness. And if you can reduce your commute, it's often more important for your mental health than higher wages. Now, many people sacrifice valuable relationship time for minimal financial gain, trading a hidden metric like relationship satisfaction for an observable metric like slightly higher income. Now, that's something to think about as we check out these stable remote jobs. If you work a remote job your entire life versus, working in person and you have to do the commute, you will likely save yourself literally thousands and thousands of extra hours that you can do anything you want with. And by the way, I open up this opportunity once in a while. There is the 30-day remote job landing challenge. So if you're serious about landing a remote job in the next month, grab my completely free resource in the description and the pinned comment below. It gives you specific daily actions that actually get results and land your ultimate dream remote job. And all I ask is that when you land the job, just comment on my video. Right? That's all I ask. All right, now that that's out of the way, let's look into these stable remote opportunities that are actively hiring right now, starting with number 1 on our list, which is medical billing and coding specialist. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry, but don't click away just yet because this tedious job could be your ticket to working from home while making serious money. And as a medical billing specialist, you'll be the bridge between healthcare providers and insurance companies. So you can think of yourself as kind of like a healthcare money detective, making sure that doctors get paid and insurance companies pay what they're supposed to, or else. Now, you don't need a medical degree for this. You just need attention to detail and the ability to follow procedures. And according to Glassdoor, entry-level medical billing and coding specialists with 0 to 1 years of experience typically earn between $42,000 to $58,000 a year, but that's just the starting point. And the medical billing field remains stable with growing demand. And while aspects of the job can be repetitive, it offers serious job security due to the constant need in healthcare. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics projects a 9% growth rate for medical records specialists from 2021 to 2033, which is about as fast as the average for all occupations. Now, you might be wondering what it's actually like to work in this field. Well, medical coding professionals often enjoy a significant work-life balance with the flexibility to work remotely and manage their schedules. And one experienced coder reports earning around $70,000 annually while having the freedom to take breaks, attend to personal matters, and prioritize health without compromising their work responsibilities. And it gets even better. According to a Reddit post I found, entry-level positions in the field are often readily available and accessible to newcomers. Several companies are willing to hire and train individuals with little prior knowledge, and formal certification is not typically required to start a career in medical billing. And that's a huge plus if you're looking to break into a new career without spending months or years on the education first. Now, if you're interested in this opportunity, let me give you a quick guide on how to get started. First, familiarize yourself with basic medical terminology. Don't worry, you don't need to become a doctor overnight. Just learn the common terms used in healthcare billing like stat. That means get it done ASAP. Next, get comfortable with billing software. Now, there are plenty of tutorials online that can help you with this. Then you want to brush up on your attention to detail. This job is all about accuracy. And finally, you want to learn about HIPAA compliance. This is all about patient privacy, and it's extremely important in the healthcare industry. So overall, I'm going to give this job an opportunity score of 9 out of 10. The job is in high demand, it offers great pay, and it provides the flexibility of remote work. Plus, there's significant room for growth if you decide to specialize further or move into management roles. So next on our list, job number 2 is insurance claims processor. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're not going to wake up excited about reviewing insurance claims every morning. But you know what you can get excited about? A stable paycheck. And you know what else you can get excited about? Getting 15 or 20,000 steps in on your walking pad every day while you're doing repetitive work. Now, as an insurance claims processor, you'll be investigating claims, reviewing documents, and making sure that everything adds up. Think about it. Every single day, thousands of insurance claims are filed, and somebody's got to check those out. Okay, let's talk about the money that you can make doing this job. Entry-level insurance claims processors typically earn between $41,000 and $59,000 a year. So let me share some insights from real people working in this field. A CCO or chief claims officer emphasizes that in insurance claims, professionals fulfill the promise of insurance contracts by determining appropriate compensation when adverse events occur. And the role requires patience, critical thinking, and technical expertise, with each day presenting unique challenges as claims handlers interact with policyholders and claimants while navigating complex coverage decisions. And I also came across feedback from a claims processor who mentioned that while the position does have a learning curve, it is manageable for candidates with solid customer service and organizational abilities. And they note that while the position offers more stability than other jobs, like sales roles for instance, it typically comes with modest annual raises rather than the potential for large bonuses. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, here's how to get started. First, familiarize yourself with insurance terminology. It's not as complicated as it sounds. Second, brush up on your attention to detail. These companies love people who can spot inconsistencies. Third, get comfortable with basic data entry software. And finally, this is the secret sauce. Consider getting a certification or certificate in insurance claims processing. Now you might be thinking, oh no, not another certification, but here's the good news. Many companies will actually train you for this, so don't worry too much about it up front. I'm gonna give this one an opportunity score of 8 out of 10. All right, job number 3 is virtual executive assistant. So this next opportunity might be perfect if you're good at organizing other people's chaos, right? As a virtual executive assistant, you'll be the behind the scenes superhero for busy entrepreneurs and small business owners. Now let's talk about the money because that's what we're all here for, right? New virtual executive assistants typically earn about $47,000 to $74,000 a year. And you wanna know what it's really like in this role? Well, an executive assistant shared that scheduling issues caused by colleagues' poor calendar management are a big pain point. They recommend aspiring EAs develop solid problem-solving skills and self-reliance, as the job often requires working independently. A top-earning EA suggests that starting in entry-level admin roles at major financial firms to build a strong career, and they stress reliability, professionalism, and discretion, plus a willingness to do grunt work as keys for moving up in the field. Now, if this role intrigues you, here's your game plan. First, become really good at figuring out basic things on your own. You're going to be assisting executives in their day-to-day life, so things like organizing emails and booking flights or hotels are going to be common tasks. Next, develop your organizational skills and learn basic bookkeeping. Then, get comfortable with video conferencing tools like Zoom and Microsoft Teams, because boy, oh boy, you're going to be using them a lot. And finally, build a professional online presence on platforms like LinkedIn to attract potential clients. Now, with this one, a lot of the time people actually start off part-time, sometimes they even freelance, and then eventually they may or may not move into a full-time role. So I'm going to go ahead and give this career a solid 9 out of 10 opportunity score. The demand is high, the pay is competitive, and the flexibility is unmatched. Plus, as you build relationships with executives, you often gain access to other opportunities, and you can even specialize in high-demand niches like tech, finance, or healthcare virtual assistants. Now, if you want more remote job opportunities delivered straight to your feed, gently tap that subscribe button. Now, job number 4 is a legal assistant. And if you like the idea of working in an important field without needing a law degree, becoming a remote legal assistant could be perfect for you, because this role is crucial to the functioning of law firms, yet often flies under the radar, especially when people think about remote work opportunities. Now, as a legal assistant, you'll be handling document preparation, administrative tasks, and providing support to attorneys. Now onto the financial details that you're probably most interested in. According to Glassdoor, entry-level legal assistants with 0 to 1 years of experience typically earn between $42,000 and $60,000 a year. Now that's a solid starting salary for a position that often requires minimal prior experience. Now let's hear what people actually doing this job have to say. For Icy, the first 3 months are tough as you learn new systems and lingo. And her advice, ask questions, focus on one skill at a time, and don't sweat the mistakes. Building discipline beats relying on motivation in this detail-heavy job. Now, as for this 35-year-old legal pro, they shared that nonprofit and government legal work beats private practice for work-life balance. Government gigs often pay more, have better benefits, and stick to regular hours, letting you fully unplug after work. So if you're interested in pursuing this career path, here's how to get started. First, brush up on basic legal terminology. You don't need to become a lawyer, but knowing the fundamentals will help you stand out. Next, become proficient with Microsoft Office, especially Word and Excel, as you'll be using these tools daily. Then develop strong organizational skills and attention to detail. These are absolute musts in the legal field. And finally, consider taking an online course in legal document preparation to add some relevant credentials to your resume. Now, with all that being said, I'm rating this opportunity an 8 out of 10. The legal field offers stability, transferable skills, and growing remote opportunities, making it a solid choice for those wanting secure work from home careers. Plus, there's a lot of other jobs you can go into down the line. You might even decide to become a lawyer, who knows? Next on the list is going to be a data taxonomy specialist. Now, don't worry if you've never heard of it before. That's exactly why it's on our list of overlooked remote opportunities. As a data taxonomy specialist, you'll be the digital librarian who organizes organizes company info so that it's actually findable and usable, hopefully. Basically, you're helping businesses make sense of their data mountains. So let's talk money. Data taxonomy specialists can earn between $28,000 and $88,000 per year. And you might be thinking, well, Shane, that's a pretty wide range. And that's because in a lot of situations, people do work part-time. However, the actual range for experienced specialists is often higher, sometimes reaching as much as $139,000 a year. But of course, you would need more experience. Now, what is it like to actually do this job? Well, this data analyst slash data taxonomist jumped from temp to permanent with a big pay bump in just 9 months. And the job mixes project management, coding, and machine learning, showing how diverse skills can grow in this field. For this data analyst, this is a field where your entry point depends heavily on your existing background and skills. So regardless of your starting point, having robust hands-on projects that showcase your practical skills in Python, SQL, and best practices is crucial for breaking into this career. So if you're intrigued by this career path, here's how to get started. First, familiarize yourself with data organization principles and metadata concepts. There are plenty of free online resources to learn the basics. Next, get comfortable with database management systems and data visualization. Then consider taking courses in information architecture or library science, as these fields share many principles with data taxonomy. And finally, develop strong analytical skills. The ability to recognize patterns and create logical classification systems is essential for success in this role. Now, everything factored in, I'm going to give this one a solid 8.5 out of 10 opportunity score. The demand is growing rapidly as companies realize the importance of well-organized data, the pay is excellent, and the skills are transferable across virtually any industry that manages large amounts of information. Now, by the way, drop a comment below telling me which of these remote jobs you'd be the most interested in trying out. And let's jump to number 6, which is technical documentation writer. Now, this might also be known as user manual writer, and this is another one of those types of jobs that most people never really think about, but it's absolutely essential in today's tech-driven world. Now, as a technical writer, you're going to create clear step-by-step guides for products, software, and services. You're basically the translator between the tech experts who create products and the everyday people who use them, which, as you can imagine, is pretty damn boring, but somebody's got to do it. So let's talk about what you can earn in this field. According to Glassdoor, entry-level technical documentation writers with 0 to 1 years of experience typically earn between $52,000 and $92,000 a year. Now, that's an impressive range for a position that often doesn't require specialized technical degrees. And what's it actually like to do this job day to day? Well, one technical writer shared how they juggle their day to day between tons of meetings, demos, product design sessions, customer scrums, while still finding time to work on content migration and documentation. And it's a real balancing act that shows just how cross-functional this job really is. And for this technical writer, days are packed with meetings, demos, product design sessions, and customer success scrums, where they share input and show off their docs. In between meetings, they juggle content migration, reference architecture docs, and release tasks, showing how tech writers really wear multiple hats and work across teams. Now, if you're thinking about pursuing this career, here's how to get started. First, develop strong writing and editing skills. Clear, concise communication is the foundation of technical writing. Next, familiarize yourself with documentation tools like Madcap Flare, Adobe FrameMaker, or even just advanced features of Microsoft Word. Then, build a portfolio of sample documentation, even if it's just for products or software you personally use. And finally, learn the basics of common markup languages like HTML and Markdown, as these are often used in modern technical documentation. With that, I'm going to give this one an opportunity score of 8 out of 10 in this specific context. The demand is steady, the pay is excellent, and the skills are transferable across virtually any industry that creates products or services requiring any type of explanation, which is most industries these days. All right, next is cybersecurity analyst, also known as a SOC or SOC analyst. And this is another remote job opportunity in one of the fastest growing fields in tech. As a SOC analyst, you will monitor security systems to detect and respond to cyber threats. And this role might sound intimidating, but it's actually more accessible than most people realize. And the demand is absolutely exploding. Now, let's talk about the money, because this is where cybersecurity really shines. Entry-level cybersecurity analysts with 0 to 1 years of experience typically earn between $79,000 and $132,000 a year. Yes, you read that right. And this is one of the highest paying entry-level positions on our list. With that being said, you do need to know your stuff, which is easier said than done. But what is it really like working in this field? Well, this cybersecurity analyst shared that his daily grind includes checking emails, team huddles, working with vendors, and keeping an eye on security systems for threats. So the job keeps things interesting with different tasks each day, while senior folks also tackle things like firewalls and network management. So basically, there's going to be a whole lot of sitting around doing nothing, waiting for a cyber threat to happen, which is pretty cool because you can spend that extra time up-leveling your skills so you can make more money or be more valuable, or you can just do a whole lot of nothing if you want. That's great too. Now, a former SOC analyst says that you've got to do side projects like threat hunting and get certs to avoid getting stuck in a rut. So they also stress taking care of your body and maintaining work-life balance, since staring at screens all day can burn you out fast if you're not careful. And if you're interested in pursuing this high-demand career, here's how to get started. First, learn the fundamentals of networking and security. Understanding how systems communicate is essential. Next, familiarize yourself with security tools like SIEM or SIM, which stands for Security Information and Events Management Systems. Then consider getting entry-level certifications like CompTIA Security Plus or CIS A+, which can give you credibility even without experience. And finally, practice with home labs or free online resources such as TryHackMe or Hack the Box to build practical skills. Because sometimes the best way to learn how to play defense is to learn how to play offense. Now, I'm giving this opportunity a stellar 9.5 out of 10. The demand is skyrocketing, the pay is exceptional, and the skills are highly transferable across virtually any industry that uses technology. However, for most people, it's going to be very boring, which is probably a good thing. Now, if you're interested in just about any of the jobs that I talked about on this list, I have a resource of either free certs, free courses, or very low-paying resources that are out there on the internet, and you can check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And I also highly recommend checking out my video on the best certs to land remote jobs by clicking right here.